What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. How is everybody doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. International break is over. The Premier League is back tomorrow. Manchester United are back tomorrow. And I was thinking I was going to have like an evening where, we're just going to it was an amazing match preview earlier with Flex and Mariappa. Really enjoyed watching that. I'm excited for the game tomorrow. In that sort of weird way that you feel like, before you get on a roller coaster and you're thinking, am I going to crash and fall off this thing at the moment? I don't know what's going to happen. But I was excited for that. And then all the Lingard stuff happened. So we had to do an emergency live. I was on KG's channel earlier talking with him about it. So we're going to do a bit of a what? What's the time now? 6 o'clock. We're going to do maybe like a sort of half an hour sort of just chat about it. Because is it a massive issue? No, I don't necessarily think it's like. I'm very conflicted on it. And I've got some theories on it. And again, I don't know if it's the most dramatic thing in the world, like some people are making out. But we'll get into it, guys. As always, smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and let me know where you're watching from. We'll get your comments up on the screen. As always, I'm El Presidente of the free seats. You know me. Doesn't matter if it's super chat, if it's just a normal chat in the free seats. We'll get your comments going. That's what it's about. It's about interaction. It's about enjoying being part of the United View community. Getting a bit of rapport going. Get a bit of a chat going. So as always, let me know where you're watching from. We'll get your chats up on the screen. But Jesse Lingard. And I want to hear your opinion on this as well. Like, do you consider this to be a big deal? Do you consider this just to be just the latest drama that is the Manchester United circus? I think one thing we can agree on is that Manchester United is just a mess. Everything is just a mess, isn't it, at the moment? That's what we can agree on. I'm not going to be super hypocritical and say, devastated that Jesse Lingard is going to be leaving, because in the summer I was one of the people that's saying he should leave. He still should leave. But he should have left in the summer, and we should have got 30 or 40 million for him. Now, we might get nothing for him, and that's just bad business, especially for a homegrown talent. If you put all of that money into a homegrown talent, and the idea is to sell them, at least you get some return on investment. We get nothing. We get nothing for an England international. It's just bad business. Just really, really bad business, isn't it? I don't know. Alexander Reach says, the emergency view. It's not called that, but you never know. Maybe we need to look at that. Leonardo says, Lingard is a good super sub. We never use player. Ollie at least can play all other cups and last 25 minutes. Kyle's watched him from Trinidad and Tobago, West Indies. Love the show, guys. Mr. Reliable. You know what? That's a KGism. He has christened me with Mr. Reliable. And I feel like it's just pressure. I have to live up to it. Now, even when it gets to like 6 o'clock, I'm thinking I can't be 1 minute over. I'm Mr. Reliable. How dare I, Mr. Reliable, be late? And it's just, going back to the Lingard thing. But I appreciate the comment, Kyle. Big up. Thunder and Joy says, 30 or 40 million. You were never going to get that sort of money for a 28-year-old player who doesn't play. Dream on. Well, valuations are subjective, as always, Thunder and Joy. And I appreciate the comments, like Flex always says, just, no one agrees with everything anyone says. It's all opinion. That's what's great about it. I think 30 million would have been fair for Jesse Lingard in the summer. This guy is an England international, especially considering the season he came off of last year. There were talks about him, if he just had if he was there for the whole season at West Ham, he would have gone to the World Cup, the European Championships, rather. I think 30 million would have been fair. To get 40 million, English tax as well on an English player. When you've got other English players going for, was it Ben White, 50 million? Harry Maguire's worth 80 million. If that's what we're going by the valuation of, then surely Jesse Lingard in the summer would have been 30 million. Now, we're lucky if we get 10. We're lucky if we even sell him in January. There's talks of him going out on loan and then just leaving on a free anyway. Valuations are subjective. I just think when it comes to English players, we know the English tax, don't we? But I appreciate the comment, as always. Really appreciate anyone interacting. You don't have to agree with everything any of us say. It's all opinions. That's what's great about the channel. We're not going to be one of those people that's like, your opinion's different to mine, get rid of you, anything like that. No, that's not the game here. So if you are unaware of the situation, This has been bubbling. I mean, the Lingard sort of transfer or contract saga, shall we say, has been bubbling since the summer, really. But yesterday, I believe it was, is his name Paul Hurst from the Times, said that essentially the Lingard contract negotiations had collapsed. He was going to leave on a free transfer in the summer, or he was set to leave on a free. That got a lot of people's attention, but today Sky went with the same story, and basically, if you're not familiar, when Sky go with their story, it's near enough nailed on. Not all the time, because things happen in football, but they like to play things, they would like to have all of everything, the I's dotted, the T's crossed. They put out earlier today, Sky Sports News has been told that talks between Jesse Lingard and Manchester United have collapsed. He will now look to leave on a free transfer in the summer and may even look for a loan switch in January, similar to the move he made last season to West Ham. So a lot of people said at the time, well, that's what we heard yesterday, but it's just more incompetence. It's just more incompetence by Manchester United, and it's more, everything's a mess. And that's what I kind of said on KG's channel earlier. Everything's just a bit of a mess because, you've got the board and whoever handles transfers, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't handle transfers. Basically, the board are like, no, we're going to keep him. And Ollie says to Jesse Lingard, you're part of my plans. You don't play him, you don't sell him, and now he's going to leave on a free. What great business. Well, what great business that is. Just bizarre. Super chat from Santiago, appreciate the super chat, says, I'm concerned about the mass exodus we might see. United always when it comes to, and appreciate the super chat, United always when it comes to contracts, for the last few years, they cut it so fine, don't they? When they can't figure it out, okay, we'll trigger the extension clause because we still haven't worked it out. It's just mismanagement. It's just poor. It's just poor from the people in charge that do handle negotiations, transfers, contracts. But we know that. And again, it's just a slap in the face of reality, really, isn't it? So the news from Sky came out about the contract talks had collapsed, all that kind of stuff. So, of course, we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. This comes in stages, by the way, guys. This has kind of literally been one thing after the other today. And I thought it was going to be a quiet day. So the Sky News came out, and obviously the report yesterday. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has his press conference, and he's asked about the Jesse Lingard rumours, reports, contract negotiations collapsed. What's the situation with Jesse? What's going on? These are the quotes that Solskjaer had to say, and it was just ridiculous, to be honest. He said, quote, in regards to contract situations and talks, I've not been in them very closely. For me, Jesse is still a big part of the squad and important, and he gives quality to the group every day. I heard that and went, what a load of nonsense, to be honest. What a load of nonsense. I've done a lot of the press conferences here on the channel, so you kind of get used to what an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer answer is, and that's just it's status quo, that is. And I'm sure that some of the players feel like the same thing. I've heard that before. I'm sure Jesse Lingard has heard that before of, Jesse, I can't do an Ole impression. I'm not very good at impressions. But I'm sure Jesse Lingard has heard from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times, you're still a big part of the squad. You've still got a part to play. Everyone's got a part to play. It's just difficult. There's competition for places, but keep working hard. You give us quality. We like your quality. And I'm sure he's like the fans when he goes, I've heard that 1,000,000 times and I'm still not playing. I'm still not playing. Another report came out. This was a crazy one, and I agree with Jesse on this. Another report, I wish I had it in front of me. I don't have this one in front of me. Was saying that he was particularly confused, Jesse Lingard, or perplexed was the language used, that he wasn't selected to start over Dan James against Wolves in August. Remember that away game at Molineux? We got battered, but we still managed to win. He was particularly perplexed that Daniel James started that game and he did not, as Dan James was set to leave the club on a transfer, which he did. Now, it's interesting he says that because everyone thought that at the time. Everyone went, why is Dan James playing? He's set to leave. That doesn't make any sense. And put yourself in Jesse's shoes. Put yourself in Jesse Lingard's shoes. You've been told over the summer you have a part to play. Even that report also came out of Solskjaer having the meeting with all of the players. I understand I overplayed some people last year. I didn't rotate enough. I didn't use the squad I have. That's going to change this year. And he's told, particularly by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to his face, you've got a part to play this season. You've got a big role to play. And then he sat on the bench at Molineux, and Dan James is on the pitch, and everyone else who's sitting on the bench knows that guy's leaving. He's going to go. It's obvious he's going to go because transfer deals don't just happen overnight. So they would have been in discussions. So he was like, why is this guy playing? How has he got? And that would be the thing I would struggle to wrap my head around, would be, how does that guy have a bigger part to play who's actually leaving the club? A guy who's leaving the club ultimately has a bigger part to play, specifically in this game, but I guess going forward, than I do. And I'm sitting on the bench and I'm staying. What message does that say? What message does that send? It doesn't. These things don't add up. And again, it reeks of mismanagement and incompetence and everything put together. So that was the first quote. So when I heard that one, I went, I've heard that answer a million times. He also then went on to say, quotes, every player wants to play as much as possible. With Jesse and all my players, they're working really hard, can't fault the attitude when they're called upon. Where have we heard that one before? We've heard that about Donny van der Beek. We've heard that about everyone. I can't fault the attitude. Attitude's great. You know, we don't want any moaners in the squad. Remember when he said that before? We don't want any moaners, but we don't have any moaners. The attitude's great. So again, it's just the same. And he figured that he finished that off. I'll get my words there eventually. He finished that off saying, quote, Jesse has done well when he's played for us, and with the games coming up, he's going to play a part. And I'm sure he's looking like that going, sure I am. I was going to play a part, I played a part in pre-season. I was going to play a part when you told me I was going to play a part throughout the entirety of the season. I've just been sat on the bench again. And Lingard, to his credit, I know he made the mistake against Young Boys away in the Champions League, but to his credit, when he has came on, he has affected the game. He scored against West Ham. He assisted Ronaldo, didn't he, against Villarreal. He scored against Newcastle when he came on as well. This is a guy that when he has been given a chance, he's actually delivered. I still think he should go, me personally, but I thought he should have gone in the summer. And I think that, he was I said at the time I thought he was being slightly naive because I maybe it's me being very cynical, and maybe this is my personality that I'm trying to project onto Jesse. But myself, I'm one of those people, I don't know about you, and you can let me know in the live chat, but I'm one of those people that when someone, like, if I went to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and he said, look, we're going to play you, we're going to play this season, you've got a part to play, in the back of my mind, I would still be going, but what's the difference? I didn't last year. I went out on loan because I wasn't playing. And what's changed? Nothing's changed. More people have come in. So why? Well, how suddenly do I have a part to play? I don't understand that. And that would be gnawing at me. And even though Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be telling that to my face, I'd be like, I just don't believe you. I just don't believe you. And maybe it's maybe it's Jesse's fault for believing him. Maybe it's Ollie's fault for lying. I don't know. So that was that. So you get the report from Sky. They've broken down contract negotiations. They've collapsed. Lingard's leaving on a free. You get Solskjaer in a press conference. You get his reactions, his quotes, where you just an eye roller. Then, and this is what got KG particularly upset, was Jesse Lingard on his story. Now, I believe West Ham, they're playing Wolves this weekend, I think. So they put out something on Instagram when it says, last time we played Wolves, and they show an image of Jesse Lingard doing the whole J-Lings, all that kind of stuff, and he scored against Wolves in the last game for West Ham. So they've got a picture of Jesse, and then if you swipe it, they've got the video of him scoring a goal. I think it's a counter-attack goal. So Jesse Lingard reposts that onto his story. Now, when you see it, obviously, the first thing you see on his story, it's on the thumbnail. The image is on the thumbnail. We put a tweet out at United View TV on Twitter as well. When you see the post, you go, man, that's blatant. It's Jesse Lingard doing J-Lings in a West Ham kit. Just after these reports come out saying that contract talks are collapsing and he's going to leave on a free. It's not very, it's not very subtle. In fairness, it's not as if like he's put the picture up there, he's gone out of his way, found a specific picture, atted West Ham. He's just reposted it. So I'm going to give him a smidge of like not going completely in, all that kind of stuff. But he knows what he's doing there. He absolutely 100% knows what he's doing. That is it's not even a subtle hint. That is saying to West Ham, look, those reports are accurate. Those reports are true. He's talking to the West Ham fans. I'm coming back. I'm available. I want to go back to West Ham. And that's where I think he will go. I think he will go back to West Ham. That's what he's angling for, obviously. He sees how well West Ham are doing in the league at the moment, thinking, man, I should have stayed. I should have gone in the summer. Not only am I not playing now, but West Ham are like third in the league. I'm naive not to go. Why did I even go back to Manchester United? Now, one thing I will say about that, when I saw it, I found it a little bit shocking, because I do think you can't overlook, you can't make this a double standard, and you can't overlook what the reaction would be if these were other players. And what I mean by that is, and I don't want to be that guy that drags Paul Pogba into everything, but what I do have to say is that if Paul Pogba had done something similar, if Juventus were like, last time we played so-and-so, Paul Pogba scored this rocket, and they put that on there, if Paul Pogba had reposted that, the reaction would be very, I think, way harsher. And I don't think you can overlook that. But also at the same time, how many wrongs make a right here? Because everything's wrong. Everything's wrong with this, isn't it? You've got the board. They're wrong because reportedly they did offer Jesse Lingard a new contract, but it was for less money. That's wrong. Jesse Lingard's taken that as an insult, and I would take that as an insult as well. So that's that. You've got Gunnar Solskjaer. He's in the wrong because he lied to Jesse Lingard essentially when he said you've got a part to play. What part to play in filling out the bench, being just a body on the bench? That's your part to play this season. You know, so he's essentially lied. So he's in the wrong as well. You've got Lingard now, who's also in the wrong. I mean, he's still contracted to Manchester United. He's still a Manchester United guy. He came through the academy. It's slightly disrespectful to be putting out Instagram stories of you in a West Ham kit, basically with a wink and a nudge saying, well, I'm going to be going back probably to West Ham in January. All of it's wrong. But again, how many wrongs make a right here? And it goes back to my original point that United are just a mess. This whole situation is just a mess. You think of other clubs, and you have to compare to other clubs in this situation. This would just be such a non-story, wouldn't it? It would be such a non-story for any other club because they would handle it. If it was a case of, right, Jesse Lingard in the summer, you'd have the manager go, right, he's not going to play, we'll get rid of him. He would go. It would be done. Or you would have the manager go, he has a part to play, he's going to be in my plans, and he would play. It would be done. He'd get a new contract, and it'd be for more money. But everything Manchester United is just wrong. Everything is wrong. The contract negotiations are wrong. The manager talking to the player is wrong. The player coming out on social media putting a picture of him in a West Ham kit, that's wrong as well. And it just goes, again, just this circus that is surrounding Manchester United at the moment. And as a fan, it's draining. It's so draining. Like, as if like the results on the pitch aren't good enough and the performances aren't good enough. And you've got other opposition teams and you've got rivals like laughing at us because of the mess we find ourselves in, even though we've got some amazing players at our club, whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, De Gea, all of these players, Varane, Sancho, we've got all of these amazing players at the club, and yet the results still aren't great on the pitch, but you've also got this just madness happening off of it as well. And it's such a farce. That's the problem. It's such a farce. And I just, that's what it is for me. It's draining. It really is draining. Super chat from Mr. Nash says, it's like for 10 years, wrong decisions and papering over the cracks has got to a point where the walls are falling down. It's really bad right now. Look, it is bad right now. It really is. And, you know, let's not even get into like the managerial mess right now. If you also see the things where it says, you know, that, United reportedly are running what they're calling background checks on managers, but they don't want to get into official talks in case they leak out. That could be disrespectful to Solskjaer, and what happens if it does leak out, so that will look bad as well. And you also said, like, what? Wait a minute, they already are leaking out, because this story's coming out. Again, as a Manchester United fan, you read these things and you're like, man, my head's going to explode. my head's going to explode, because it's a new, just... Again, the circus is always in town every single day. It's like a new act, honestly. Super chat from A says, big up Jesse. Thank you for scoring in 2 finals and winning us trophies. How many others in the squad can say that? Jesse is too good for Ollie Ball. Well, it's interesting you say that, A, because I'd like to know you guys' opinion in the live chat as well. Does this change your opinion on Jesse Lingard? Do you see that story and do you go, that's probably a bit over the line? Or do you see him and you go, I tell you what, I rate it. He just had enough. And, you know, and I don't blame him. He's been messed around since the summer. He arguably didn't go to the Euros. You could put that on him or maybe on Manchester United. because if he'd have been let go the summer prior, he'd have probably made the Euros. And maybe he holds a bit of resentment about that as well. And maybe he's just like, I tell you what, I'm sick of being lied to over and over and over and over again. And I'm done with it. Yeah, I put up a story because I'm pretty pissed off right now. Maybe. And can you blame him? Super chat from Steffi Jenks says, let's go for a pint, Owen. Enough is enough. Well, I appreciate the super chat, Steffi. Have one on me. I'm not much of a beer drinker, to be honest with you. I'm just bloated. It's very bloated. I'm not much of a beer drinker. I like to think of myself being like really sophisticated and like, I'll have a gin and tonic, please. I went to one of these like fancy gin bars before and I was so out of my depth. It was embarrassing. It really was. So that was the fracas, shall we say, when it comes to, big word, right? To Jesse Lingard and the story. But it continues. So if you go on that initial West Ham post that they posted today, and you look on the comments, I actually got this wrong on KG's channel. I got this is such like a 2021 thing. I got the emojis mixed up. Imagine saying that to your parents like 20 years ago. So in the comments of the West Ham post, Jesse Lingard has commented on it. And this is what we're at, guys. We're looking at comments on Instagram posts like we're sort of modern-day Sherlock Holmes. Jesse Lingard has done the wind emoji, and Declan Rice has responded to Jesse Lingard with the eyes emoji. Now, I can't do it's like that. And the wind one is what it is. Like, he's leaving. Like, he's leaving. That's it. He's gone. He's out the door, and he's putting out there he's definitely where he wants to go to. And again, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be really upset that Jesse Lingard is leaving. Because again, I was the same person that in the summer was saying that he should leave. He still should leave for the betterment of his career. He should have left in the summer. Either he was hoodwinked by Manchester United, either he didn't force a move through. I don't know. We don't really know those situations. He should have gone in the summer. There's too many people ahead of him. It's obvious. You can look on paper. That's already there. The reason I'm frustrated as a fan is because it's bad business and it's a continuation of this club being horribly mismanaged. For a club that's run by bankers, right? And I used a B there. For a club that's run by bankers like Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold, and the Glazers, and they care so much about money, they're fascinated with money, they do some really bad deals, especially in transfers. You would think for a club that's run by bankers, they would actually be good at transfer deals, or they'd be good at putting deals together. They're good at putting commercial deals together. That's where Ed Woodward cut his teeth at Manchester United, putting commercial deals together. But when it comes to transfers or player contracts or anything like that, they're awful. Honestly, they're terrible. Really, they're so bad. Because you look at it again, it's just bad business. In the summer, you could have got him, let him go, 30 million, 35 million, whatever it may be, 40 million. And now you're going to lose him for nothing. And what have we made out of that? In the interim, was it worth sacrificing that 30 million that we could have got? No, we've made nothing out of that. It's hardly as if in the last 12 months of his contract, he's going to make Manchester United 30 million in terms of winning trophies or whatever that may be. It's just silly. It's just bad business. Bad business. Now, as far as possible destinations for Jesse, well, everywhere's kind of open now, and everyone knows that Jesse Lingard is available, so a lot of people are going to be after him. So sources, this comes from the Telegraph, sources have suggested that Jesse Lingard is keen on a move abroad and has his eyes on a move to Serie A. Where he would go in Serie A, I don't know. Maybe he goes to Juventus and then Paul Pogba joins him. Could you imagine? Could you imagine social media with that? Oh, that would be mental, wouldn't it? But obviously there are other people that are interested in him as well. One being West Ham. The Telegraph is saying that West Ham will attempt to re-sign Jesse Lingard in January in the transfer window, but they now fear that Manchester United will not sanction a deal because they now regard them as a top four rival. There is so much in that bothers me. First of all, I look at that and say, top four rival. Why are we just already settling on top four? That goes to show how far we're off it already, Manchester United, isn't it? We were talking about the beginning of the season going, we should be challenging, maybe not winning the league. We've already settled for top four. And that, we're concerned West Ham are our rivals because they're ahead of us and they might stay ahead of us the whole season. We might actually be strengthening someone else that's doing better than us. That's managed by our ex-manager. It's just, no wonder people laugh. Even as a United fan, you have to laugh, otherwise you cry. So he might not go to West Ham because United out of spite will be like, oh, we're not going to strengthen our top 4 rivals. But even that just speaks to volumes, isn't it? Super chat from Tabarez says, what can the Glazers do when Ollie says he needs him? Well, the Glazers can say, well, the thing is, the Glazers, this is the thing when it comes to that. If Ollie says to the Glazers, and again, I don't really know how this system works. This system's bizarre at Manchester United. So if Ollie goes to the Glazers, look, don't get rid of Jesse. He's got a part to play this season. Surely wouldn't the Glazers then be even more pissed off? Wouldn't Ed Woodward be more pissed off going, wait a minute, we're going to lose this guy for nothing. You said you were going to play him. You're not playing him. You know, but that's almost like the least of Solskjaer's worries at the moment, isn't it? If that's the thing that knocks him over the line to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Oh, and you bloody mess around Jesse Lingard as well. Nothing to do with being, crap on the pitch or just being laughed at the moment. I don't know. It's just all mess. It's just all a mess. It's just all a mess. I'm so deflated, honestly. It really is. And speaking of, as I mentioned, when it comes to Lingards' future destinations as well, Newcastle understood to be keen to sign Jesse Lingard. I guess they're going to be keen to sign everyone, aren't they? But it remains to be seen whether he would want to join the club currently in a relegation battle. I think that's probably going to be the same, isn't it, for anyone joining Newcastle, to be honest with you, is that a lot of people would want to join Newcastle, especially with the money that they've got now and where they could be in the future. There's a lot of uncertainty, though, isn't there? Like, maybe, in April, they still might be in the relegation zone. They can have all that money, but if they're in the Championship, I don't want to go there. Why would Jesse Lingard want to go there, if they're in the relegation zone? If Eddie Howe turns things around very quickly and Lingard goes out on loan to, say, abroad for the remainder of the season, he absolutely could go to Newcastle on a free transfer. Because if Newcastle stay in the league, next season, it's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? At the moment, it's kind of firefighting mode for Eddie Howe at Newcastle. We've got over 450 people watching, only 107 likes. So be sure to smash a like on the like button as well as we wrap things up here. But it's just, as I mentioned before, it's just a bit of a circus surrounding Manchester United. And, you can get really, conspiracy theory laden, can't you? Be like, so it's just trying to distract people from the pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it's trying to distract from the game tomorrow, and it's another drama going into tomorrow's game. I don't think it even does. I don't think it even does distract. If it was a PR game by Manchester United, if it was a smoke screen, if you will, by the club, it's a really bad one because it just highlights more incompetence. It just gets Manchester United fans more just rolling their eyes and being like, God, we're a mess. We are just an absolute mess. and that's the overall thing, whether it's United running background checks on managers and looking for managers, but also admitting at the same time Solskjaer isn't the right manager for the job, but keeping him in, he might even stay to the end of the season, resigning themselves to we're in a top 4 race, even though there is time to turn this season around, even though we're in November, if they manage to, change manager right now, they could absolutely turn things around, but they're refusing to. You've got players that are going to leave on a free. You've got people like Donny van der Beek who aren't being used. Yet every time he's asked about them, it's like, oh, Donny's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's got a great attitude, but he doesn't play. Or he says he's got a part to play, and then there is no part to play. You've got him having emergency meetings with players. You've got, meetings at the beginning of the season going, oh, don't worry, we are going to rotate. We are going to play you. And then that doesn't happen. It's all just... it's just all a mess. And also our CEO might be leaving at the end of the year. He said he was going to resign. Well, he announced his resignation in April, and he was going to leave in December. That might be extended, or he might actually remain in an advisory role either way. We don't even know who his replacement's going to be. It might be Richard Arnold. We don't know. I mean, what other big club is being run like this? Seriously, and that's what it comes down to. So I don't really buy into the fact that it's, a smoke screen or a PR spin or anything like that, because it just highlights more incompetence, isn't it? That's what it does. It just highlights more incompetence. And that's kind of the buzzword surrounding Manchester United at the moment, isn't it? It's just incompetence. It's a mess. And that's it. And it's another thing going into tomorrow's game where I'm just like, I know Flex and Adrian Mariappa did the preview earlier. I would recommend to watch it. It's very, very good. As far as how I feel about it, I say this all the time, and it's almost a bit of a running joke, when I go, I have no idea. I have no idea what Manchester United is going to show up. Every time I'm asked for predictions on games, I just go, I don't know, because I don't. And that's not because, I can't predict the future. It's because you have no idea what Manchester United are going to show up. I think tomorrow... I have a feeling tomorrow's game might be a bit like those games earlier on in the season where we don't play particularly well. I'm not expecting us to go against Watford at Vicarage Road and just completely blow them out of the water. I would be really surprised if that happened. Even though they are Ranieri and I know all that kind of stuff, and Liverpool rolled them over and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't really see us doing that. I think that we might ride our luck and maybe we'll nick it. But I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if we drew. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost. I'm trying to remain as positive as possible and being like, well, we could nick it. But even then, and this is part of the problem too, isn't it? Is that even if we win tomorrow, and it's like when we won against Spurs, what does it change? What does it change? Yeah, we beat Watford. We got to go to Villarreal away in the week. You're confident about that? After that, we got to play Chelsea. Confident about that? No, no. So, we can win tomorrow, and I know was it Arsenal playing Liverpool, so we could actually go level on points with Arsenal. We're celebrating that. That shows a lot as well. Well, we're level on points with Arsenal. Get in. Speaks volumes, doesn't it? But even if we win tomorrow, what does that mean? What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Not a lot. Not a lot, because we have bigger games to come. And in those big games this season, we've just been absolutely appalling. So... that's the kind of mentality I'm going into tomorrow's game with. And I don't like to be that guy. I really don't. But I'm just ground down, I think, at this point. I don't know about you. I feel so ground down by the whole just situation. And when I see stories like today, I'm just like, oh, what a circus. Super chat from Dexter says, are United waiting for managers to get fired? Summer will have the same managers unavailable. Well, Dexter, I appreciate the super chat and contribution as always. My feeling on this is, and I've said it a couple of times here, that I don't really get this mindset of, like Brendan Rodgers, he would want to see out the season. Why? And why are we willing to accept that? If Brendan Rodgers if Manny and I went to Brendan Rodgers and say, right, we want to make you the next Manchester United manager, he goes, well, I'd really like to see out the season with Leicester. You go, all right, do one. We'll find someone else then. If you can't, look, he left Celtic mid-season for Leicester. He could leave Leicester for Manchester United mid-season, or Manchester United could certainly make him or persuade him to do so and go, look, we're going to pay you a lot of money. It's Manchester United. This job isn't going to be available forever. It's now or never, mate. And I'm pretty sure he'd make the decision to come. And I think a lot of managers would. And why is suddenly Manchester United bowing to all of these managers' requests of, well, it's going to be difficult to get him out, or Ten Hag, well, it'll be difficult to get him out of Ajax, maybe would he want to stay? Persuade him. Persuade him. We're always bragging about how much money we've got and we can sign Harry Maguire for 80 million, but we're not willing to fork out how much it would be. Managerial compensations, I think the highest was it Nagelsmann? That was like a world record. And even that's like 20 odd million. We're not talking about a huge amount of money either. But have some faith in yourself. Have some ambition. And that's what it comes down to. Have some ambition. And there is none. There is no ambition from this board whatsoever. The fact that they're like, Ollie isn't the right man, but we're going to let him stay to the end of the season, that's madness. Absolute madness. It's madness, delusion, and it's a continuation of the circus that just continues to go around to Manchester United. It's incredibly frustrating. But look, guys, as always, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to be a bit of a short one tonight. Tomorrow is match day, so obviously we're going to have your usual match day experience here for United View. Going to have the road trip with Flex on his way to Vicarage Road. Then we're going to have the match view, of course, with KG, who is going to sit through. It's a 3 o'clock game. Those ones are interesting because those streams can be a bit of a disaster. So that would be just fun to watch anyway. So I'll be on before the game with KG and at halftime probably with him as well. So be sure to check that out. It's always a lot of fun to watch. And then after the game, as always, myself and DJ will be there with the match reaction. And then to round all of that off, Flex is going to be interviewing all of the fans outside Vicarage Road for all of the fan views, plus his own Flex's view. And we've got plenty of really exciting stuff coming in the pipeline as well. So now is the best time to subscribe. You won't miss a single thing tomorrow or for a big upcoming week for Manchester United. Anyway, guys, I'm off to actually have my dinner. I haven't eaten all day. This is what we sacrifice for you guys. But no, seriously, enjoy yourself. Have a great Friday. And tomorrow's the big one. I'll speak to you again very, very soon.